18% increase in homelessness year over year. The number one reason, we don't have enough affordable housing. And what you're going to get are a bunch of politicians jumping on the microphone saying, this is a housing crisis, and I don't believe a word that they say. This seems to be the only crisis in America that requires absolutely no action, and it makes no sense. If you're an elected official and you call this a housing crisis, you should be legally obligated to show the receipts on what you've done to actually solve for it, like you do every other crisis. What have you done to create incentives so that people want to build affordable housing? We know the housing market isn't going to create it, because the housing market, it makes profitable housing, not affordable housing. So if the government doesn't jump in, no one's going to do it, and you know that. What have you done to get rid of archaic and stupid zoning rules that prevent the creation of affordable housing? Why are you catering to people who are worried about the character of a neighborhood when you have actual people in those neighborhoods who are experiencing homelessness? They are the priority, not the character people, not that we can't build over 3 stories tall. Stop listening to that nonsense. What have you done with the budget you are in control of? State, county, and city, because that's it. If they're not creating affordable housing, nobody is. So they don't get to call it a crisis until they actually respond like it's a crisis.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Lumi, and today we're going to be doing part 2 of the housing crisis. So this guy has a great point here. I think the fact that government and the mainstream media, they're constantly talking about, oh, the housing crisis this, the housing crisis that, emphasis on the words housing crisis, right? I think it kind of, just hearing it over and over again, kind of it loses its severity, its importance, right? If you are constantly being told what this is and constantly hearing about it. And I think he has an excellent point in the video. He said that we, or at least the government, I mean, we can say whatever we want, or we should be able to do that, but the government shouldn't be able to say, hey, this housing crisis is, blah, blah, blah. They're not, I don't think it's right that they're able to say that without having some, semblance of accountability. Well, what have you done? What have you done as, a congressman or woman or a senator or whatever to alleviate some of these issues? If you talk about it, we should see something that you've done to work towards, because at the end of the day, if you're just talking about it and you're someone in power, you were put there because the people thought you would be the best fit for the job, right? You just saying it over and over, just stating the issue, and it just makes it seem, it's such a classic move, it just sounds like it's being worked on. I saw this a lot in my last job, just FYI. It's like a textbook example of leadership just misleading the the people they're in charge of. It's if they talk about it enough, it sounds like they're doing something, but in reality they're not, and they know it. They know that if they just say buzzwords enough times, that the public will believe that, oh, okay, yeah, they are aware of it. They must be working on it. But time and time again, we see nothing changes. In fact, it's getting worse. So that's how you know it's just okay, they're not taking this seriously. They're bending to the will of the people in power who hold all the money and hold all the houses. It's just it's a crooked game,
You cannot budget your way out of a bad economy and greed. I just saw a girl on here say her rent is going up from $1,300 to $1,800. Nothing's changing, just a $500 increase because they can do that. And it was so upsetting hearing the anger and frustration in her voice, because obviously if she resigns but can't make those monthly payments, she'll be facing eviction and homelessness. But if she chooses to relocate, that's also very expensive, because a lot of places want first month, last month, and security deposit, which is oftentimes equivalent to 1 month's rent, which, by the way, rent these days, you're not finding anything under $1,500. Then you have to pay for your U-Haul if you want to get movers, if you want to move across state lines to hopefully find something cheaper. All of that adds up for one event, and you're looking at $7,000 or more. Now, who has that just sitting around in the bank these days? I would love to know. Tell me your secrets, please. But it's just scary. Even private landlords are being impacted because their property taxes are going up. So now they have to up the rent on their tenants. And I just want to know, where do we all fit in this system? What is the angle here for us? And I hate to say this, but I feel like there is no angle for us other than to be weeded out. We're not in the big picture. Our well-being, our basic human rights, food, shelter, that kind of stuff, that's not on the agenda of these private corporations who are upping the prices on these complexes, or the government and the economy that claim to care about us so much. We're not on their agenda. So like I said in the beginning, it's just scary because no matter how you try to sit there and go over your budget and review your monthly statements and try to stop spending here and stop spending there, you cannot budget your way out of economy and greed. I don't know. It's scary, but
Yeah, the biggest like clapback, I guess, if you will, like for all of this, for all the complaints we have, the younger generations trying to like own a home, it's usually met with like, oh, well, you're not budgeting well enough, or like you don't know how to save, or like, you've heard the stop buying avocado toast, like that kind of thing. I don't know if it's like victim blaming or what, but it's like a classic example of just we don't want to hear this kind of these complaints, and it's your fault. It's your fault for not owning a home. When it's like, meanwhile, the people who say that, they grew up. They're usually older. They grew up in a different time when houses were much more affordable, and it's just like times have changed.
Okay, great. Should I grab that check before I just get out? He has it. Okay. Yeah. So all of these things were there when I moved in.
There's no way that I would give an apartment to anybody in that condition as to what it was left to me. The broken mini blinds, the broken window, like I would never. We've been doing this a long time, and I would never give that apartment to somebody in that condition.
Yeah, it's just not true, Ben. And I think that you know that because it's just false. And I've been in other apartments that you own and they're not in the best condition. And that is how it was when I moved in. So all of these charges make it seem like the place was just in complete disrepair. I mean, $1,000 to paint the entire place. Those spots were absolutely there when I moved in. The broken window pane in the kitchen was so high. It's the tiny little window that I can't even reach. So it makes no difference to me. The broken toilet paper holder, it was still working when I was there. The broken mini blinds, they were still functioning. They just weren't great. The plastic pull-out drawer in the fridge.
Oh man, yeah, this thing, I always, when I'm like moving into some place, or I have to deal with like owners like this, landlords, always like on moving day, like do a walkthrough before you even start moving your stuff in. Take your phone out, do a walkthrough, record your walkthrough on your phone, and just make sure everything is like it is what it is, like when you're moving in, so they can't later down the road be like, oh, we're going to hold your security deposit because XYZ was broken when you left. When you could go back to see and look at that video and say, no, like this was broken when I got here. Like this is a classic move they try to pull on unsuspecting renters, where it's just like the place is already in disrepair and they use it as an excuse to hold your security deposit. It's really slimy, but they're landlords, so what did you expect? But anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. I hope you enjoyed. Consider leaving me a like if you like the video, dislike it if you dislike it. Let me know in the comments what you think, or if there's anything you want me to do next. And consider subscribing if you enjoy this sort of thing. But anyway, I'll catch you guys later. See ya.